Have you ever wondered if the nuts and snacks you think are healthy could be harming your heart and kidneys, especially after you turn 60? If you're like most seniors, you probably reach for almonds, cashews, walnuts, or trail mix, thinking you're making a smart choice. But what if I told you that some of these heart-healthy nuts might quietly raise your blood pressure, interfere with your medications, damage your kidneys, or even trigger silent heart events without you realizing it? This video is a must-watch because what you don't know about these popular nuts could be putting your health at serious risk. After 60, your body processes food differently. Your kidneys slow down, your heart becomes more sensitive, and medication interactions become a real concern. Nuts that once boosted your health might now be overloading your system or causing dangerous side effects. By watching until the end, you'll discover the 9 specific nuts seniors should approach with caution. You'll learn why raw almonds could strain your kidneys, how salted cashews might be a hidden sodium bomb, and why walnuts in excess could disrupt your heart's rhythm. You'll find out which nut butters and trail mixes are secretly loaded with sugars and inflammatory oils, and how pistachios may be slowing down your digestion and blocking your medications. Most importantly, I'll share the exact nuts you can safely enjoy, and how to eat them in ways that truly support your heart, stabilize blood sugar, and boost your energy. This knowledge could save your life and transform how you snack forever. So stay with me, because your heart deserves to be protected with precision, not guesswork. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's. 1. Raw almonds. When the kidneys are overloaded and the heart pays the price. For so many years, almonds have been glorified as the ultimate health snack. You see them everywhere, in glossy commercials promising heart health, in dietitian recommendations, packed lovingly into kids' lunchboxes, trail mixes, and even carefully planned senior care meals. The message is clear and loud: almonds are good for you. And yes, when eaten in moderation, they do offer nutritional benefits. But what I find deeply concerning, and what most seniors never hear, is the hidden, darker side of raw almonds, especially for aging bodies already wrestling with high blood pressure, heart issues, or weakening kidneys. Here's a truth that's rarely spoken aloud, and certainly never in those catchy ads. Raw almonds are incredibly high in oxalates. These natural compounds can accumulate silently in your kidneys over time. When you're younger and healthy, your kidneys do a remarkable job flushing these out. But after age 60, especially if you're on medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or blood thinners, those kidneys slow down. They lose their resilience. No longer are they the unsung heroes quietly keeping you healthy. Instead, they become fragile, vulnerable. And raw almonds, they can quietly push them toward overload, without you even realizing it. Let me share a story close to my heart. Mr. Paul Jensen, a 71-year-old retired postman from Indiana. Paul was the picture of conscientious health. He avoided red meat for years, faithfully walked every morning, and swapped cookies for almonds. "Doc," he told me, "I'm doing everything right." But last fall, Paul came to my clinic feeling drained, swollen ankles, breathlessness that came out of nowhere, and fatigue that no pep talk could shake. We ran his labs. The results hit hard. His creatinine levels were elevated, a red flag for early kidney dysfunction, and his blood pressure was all over the place despite his medications. The surprising culprit? 2 large handfuls of raw almonds every single day. What he thought was protecting his heart was overburdening his kidneys, causing fluid buildup that strained his heart, creating a vicious cycle. It was a silent danger creeping up on him, and he felt none of it until the damage was underway. What breaks my heart is that no one had ever warned Paul about this risk. Almonds were painted as a heart-healthy hero, so he never thought twice. Here's the clinical reality no one shouts about. Oxalate buildup can lead to kidney stones, fuel inflammation throughout your body, and disrupt fluid balance, which raises blood pressure. Over time, this forces the heart to pump harder against resistance, a heavy burden for seniors with stiff arteries or weakened heart valves. Thankfully, Paul was fortunate. We caught it early. By reducing his intake to small amounts of blanched, soaked almonds a few times a week, never raw, and staying well hydrated, his kidney function improved, blood pressure steadied, and he found relief. He told me, with tears in his eyes, that he finally felt like he could breathe again, both physically and emotionally. So here's a heartfelt plea for anyone over 60. Raw almonds are not a harmless snack or a free pass to eat endlessly. They are powerful and dense. If not carefully managed, they can tip your delicate balance into real danger for both heart and kidneys. After 60, your body doesn't need extra strain. It needs gentle, thoughtful support. Support that means not only knowing what to eat, but how much, how often, and in what form. Your health is precious. Treat it with the wisdom it deserves. 2. Salted cashews, the silent sodium bomb that's raising your blood pressure. There's something so comforting about salted cashews, their perfect crunch, their creamy richness, and how effortlessly they fit into our daily routine. Maybe it's that small handful you mindlessly nibble on while sipping your afternoon tea, or the casual snack during your evening news. They feel harmless, even healthy, don't they? After all, they're nuts, natural, wholesome, and far less guilty than chips, pretzels, or bacon. That's exactly why so many of us reach for them without a second thought. But here's the hard truth I wish more people understood, especially those of us over 60. The way our bodies handle salt changes dramatically as we age. What once seemed like a simple, innocent snack can become a stealthy saboteur to your heart's health. Salted cashews, though tasty and inviting, might be quietly turning your heart into a ticking time bomb without you even realizing it. Let me be clear, cashews themselves aren't the villain. They're packed with magnesium, healthy fats, and nutrients that our aging bodies desperately need. The problem begins the moment those cashews are roasted and drenched in salt, especially when they come from commercial packages. Just one small handful, about an ounce, can pack anywhere from 200 to 300 milligrams of sodium. And if you're like most people, you're likely consuming far more sodium daily than you think, often hidden in healthy snacks like these. The real danger? As we get older, our kidneys don't filter sodium as efficiently as before. Our arteries stiffen. The natural process of flushing excess sodium slows down. This means sodium starts to accumulate, drawing water into your bloodstream, increasing blood volume, and ultimately pushing your blood pressure higher. Your heart, that tireless warrior, is forced to work harder and harder just to keep up. This is why so many seniors, despite exercising regularly, eating fresh foods, and avoiding obvious junk, still face the silent battle of hypertension or even heart failure. I'll never forget my patient Mr. Everett, a proud, 77-year-old retired police officer from Indiana. He walked into my clinic exhausted, with a tightness gripping his chest, especially in the evenings. His blood pressure was dangerously high at 168/98, even though he was faithfully taking medication. He had never smoked, never lived an unhealthy lifestyle, and said to me with a hint of frustration, "Doc, I stopped salting my food years ago." Yet, when we took a closer look at his daily habits, there it was, the salted cashews. Not a massive amount, just a couple of small handfuls each afternoon. But over weeks, months, and years, those hidden salts quietly piled up. Without even touching a salt shaker or processed meal, Everett was unknowingly consuming thousands of extra milligrams of sodium every week, all hidden in a snack he thought was a smart choice. What many don't realize is that sodium accumulation pulls water into the blood vessels, increasing pressure inside them, stretching and straining the delicate walls of the heart. Over time, this pressure causes serious damage, thickening of the heart muscle, irregular heart rhythms, and even congestive heart failure. The frightening part? It rarely screams for attention at first. Sometimes it whispers, a little fatigue here, a slight breathlessness there, until it's no longer something you can ignore. We took salted cashews out of Everett's diet and replaced them with raw, unsalted pistachios in careful portions. Within just a month, his blood pressure dropped, his energy surged, and for the first time in years, he said he felt mentally clear and alive again. I still see the disbelief in his eyes when he told me, "Doc, all this time I thought I was doing everything right. Whoever would have guessed those cashews were pushing me closer to a heart attack?" It breaks my heart to witness people trying so hard, doing everything by the book, only to be misled by the very snacks they believe are helping them. If you're over 60, beware. The salt lurking in your favorite treats might be the quiet enemy you least expect. Your heart simply cannot afford any surprises anymore. So the next time you reach for that shiny bag of salted cashews or any natural salty snack, ask yourself, how much is that flavor worth when it's weighing heavy on your heart? And just when you think the dangers of salt end there, there's another nut, often celebrated for boosting brain health, that may secretly trigger irregular heartbeats in older adults. Curious? You want to hear about that next. 3. Walnuts. The brain-boosting nut that may be disrupting your heart's rhythm. You've probably heard it time and again, eat more walnuts, they're fantastic for your brain. And yes, on the surface, that advice sounds wonderful and hopeful. Walnuts are indeed packed with omega-3 fatty acids, those celebrated nutrients hailed for their brain-boosting powers and their ability to calm inflammation deep within our bodies. For many of us, especially as we grow older, the promise of protecting our memory and mental sharpness feels like a lifeline. Who wouldn't want to hold on to their wits and stay vibrant well into their golden years? But here's the bittersweet truth, one that too many seniors only discover the hard way, after months or years of faithfully following well-meaning advice. Eating walnuts in large amounts, especially after you hit 60, isn't always harmless. It can quietly disturb the delicate rhythm of your heart, that tireless engine beating inside your chest. Your heart is far more than just a pump. It's a marvelously complex electrical orchestra that demands perfect harmony. It depends on a fragile balance between your electrolytes, your nervous system, and your hormones. With age, this balance becomes fragile, even precarious. What once was a forgiving system can suddenly become sensitive and reactive. And yes, even the healthy foods you trust can throw it off kilter. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Walnuts are dense powerhouses of polyunsaturated fats. Fats that are good in the right amounts. But too much of these fats, particularly when combined with certain heart medications or underlying health conditions, can overstimulate your autonomic nervous system. That's the part of you that controls involuntary functions like heartbeat and blood pressure. This overstimulation can trigger arrhythmias, those unsettling irregular heartbeats that feel like fluttering, pounding, or skipped beats. For a younger person, these might barely register, but for seniors with aging arteries or a history of heart troubles, these symptoms can be a dangerous red flag, the first tremors before something far more serious, like a stroke or heart failure. I'll never forget Mr. Calvin D., a 74-year-old retired mail carrier from Colorado Springs, who came to my clinic with a look of worry in his eyes. "Doc," he said, "my heart feels jumpy, like it's racing and stopping all at once." Calvin wasn't a typical patient with heart disease. He walked daily, didn't drink, and never smoked. But he'd been faithfully adding walnuts to everything, his oatmeal, salads, even smoothies, convinced this was his secret weapon against dementia. We hooked him up to an EKG and a 48-hour Holter monitor, and the results told a clear story. Frequent premature ventricular contractions, PVCs, and occasional spikes of atrial fibrillation. Not immediately life-threatening, but undeniable signs his heart was struggling to keep pace. When I asked about supplements or new medications, Calvin was honest. No fish oil, no caffeine, no new pills. But then he dropped the key detail. "I eat about 20 walnuts a day, document. That can't be too much, right?" For his aging body, With a slower metabolism and heightened sensitivity, it was too much. That hefty omega-3 load was sending his sympathetic nervous system into overdrive, pushing his heart to a stressful and unnatural rhythm. We adjusted his intake, just 3 walnut halves a day, only with lunch, and the change was profound. Within 2 weeks, the palpitations started to fade. After 6 weeks, his heart rhythm returned to normal, and his memory? It was just fine. Turns out, Calvin said with a relieved smile, my heart just wanted some peace, not a walnut party. This story carries a powerful lesson. In your 30s or 40s, your heart might shrug off such disturbances. But after 70, it demands precision and care. The foods that once felt like allies can suddenly become overstimulators, burdening and unbalancing your most vital organ in ways you might never expect. And here's the scariest part. You may not notice anything amiss until it's too late. So if you ever feel your heart flutter oddly after a meal or catch that unsettling skipping sensation when lying quietly at night, don't brush it aside. Listen to your body. It's trying to tell you something important. And if you think that's the whole story, think again. What if the walnuts you eat aren't just disturbing your rhythm, but quietly thinning your blood, leaving you vulnerable? Just one slip or fall away from a life-threatening bleed. Stay with me. You need to hear what comes next. 4. Flax seeds, the natural blood thinner that could leave you bleeding from the inside. Flax seeds have taken the health world by storm. They're everywhere now, sprinkled generously over yogurt bowls, blended seamlessly into vibrant smoothies, stirred lovingly into morning oatmeal in kitchens across the country. For many seniors seeking to lower cholesterol, improve digestion, or simply take better care of their hearts, flax seeds are often hailed as a miracle superfood. It feels empowering to add something so natural, so wholesome to your daily routine. If you're like many, you've probably been encouraged by friends, family, or even health articles to toss a spoonful of flax seeds into your diet, believing you're making a wise choice. But here's the uncomfortable truth no one talks about enough. Once you pass 60, flax seeds may not just stop helping your heart, they could be quietly putting you in harm's way. It's a sobering reality that can catch even the most vigilant off guard. Why? Because flax seeds contain alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid, praised for its benefits, but also known as a natural blood thinner. For younger, healthier adults with resilient bodies and a fast metabolism, this is usually harmless, often even beneficial. But as we age, our bodies change. The liver slows down, the delicate balance of blood clotting becomes more fragile, and if you're on medications like aspirin, warfarin, or Plavix, that natural thinning effect can become amplified to dangerous levels. I'll never forget Miss Darlene M., a vibrant 76-year-old retired art teacher from upstate New York. She was one of those patients who did everything right, walking daily, cutting out unhealthy foods, and staying hydrated. Proudly, she told me how she swapped sugary cereals for oatmeal with a tablespoon of flaxseed every morning. "My daughter says it's the heart food of the future," she said with a hopeful smile. Yet, despite all her efforts, she walked into my clinic looking pale, confused, and dizzy. Her blood tests revealed a frightening secret. Her hemoglobin had dropped, and her blood was dangerously thin. Her body was silently bleeding from the inside. There was no trauma, no injury. Just a slow, invisible erosion of her health. It wasn't the aspirin alone, nor just the flax seeds. It was the deadly combination of both. A harmless tablespoon of flaxseed had tipped her delicate balance, turning her body into a ticking time bomb where even a minor fall could have been catastrophic. What frightened Darlene most wasn't the bleeding itself, but how stealthily it crept in. No pain, no warning signs, just a gradual weakening she never imagined possible. We had to remove flax seeds from her diet immediately. After careful medical adjustments, she recovered fully. But that experience left her, and me, with a hard-earned lesson. "I always thought natural meant safe," she told me quietly, eyes wide with a new understanding. I didn't realize that food and medicine could mix in ways that are dangerous. And that, dear reader, is the hidden truth many don't see. When you're on blood thinners or heart meds, every bite you take becomes part of your treatment. Food isn't just nourishment anymore. It's powerful chemistry that can heal or harm. Flax seeds themselves aren't villains. They are potent, yes, but potency without knowledge is perilous. So next time you reach for that tablespoon of flax seeds, pause and ask yourself, have I talked to my doctor about this? Do I truly understand what my body can handle at 70, 75, or beyond? Because your age isn't just a number. It's a signal to listen deeply, to be mindful of how natural foods interact with your health. Remember, what feels like a simple, healthy choice could quietly change your life. And at this stage, awareness isn't just wisdom, it's survival. 5. Nut butters, the sweet, creamy spread that's quietly clogging senior arteries. Have you ever stopped to wonder what really happens when you reach for that spoonful of nut butter, thinking it's a healthy choice, only to unknowingly fill your body with sugar, unhealthy fats, and misleading health claims? It's heartbreaking how something that seems so innocent, so natural, can be silently damaging the very thing we cherish most, our hearts. This isn't just a theory. Nut butters, whether peanut, almond, or cashew, sit quietly in our pantries, dressed up like the perfect substitute for sugary snacks. They're marketed as wholesome, plant-based, and protein-rich. And yes, on the surface, they sound like a smart swap. After all, they come from nuts, nature's little powerhouses. But the truth, especially for those of us who have entered our 60s, 70s, or beyond, is far more troubling. Our bodies don't process food like they once did. Our metabolism slows, our arteries become stiffer, and our hearts strain a bit more to keep that steady beat. What we spread on our toast or blend into our smoothies matters deeply now. Many commercial nut butters are ticking time bombs, masked behind their creamy, inviting textures. They hide added sugars, inflammatory oils like hydrogenated palm or soybean oil, and excess salt, all carefully crafted to improve taste and shelf life but at a devastating cost to cardiovascular health. Sugar doesn't just add sweetness. It triggers insulin spikes, encourages fat to cling to our bodies, and fans the flames of inflammation inside our blood vessels. Those oils, rich in omega-6 fatty acids, disrupt the delicate balance of our body's natural defenses, worsening arterial stiffness. And salt? It's a silent pressure booster, tightening the squeeze on our hearts with every milligram. Consider this. In just 2 tablespoons of a flavored or processed nut butter, you might consume close to 200 calories, 3 to 4 grams of hidden sugar, and over 150 milligrams of sodium, all before you even add jelly or bread. I remember Mr. Harold T., a 79-year-old retired piano tuner I met from Illinois. A gentle soul who had carefully managed his blood pressure for years, taking his meds like clockwork and living quietly alone after his beloved wife passed away. When he came to me one day with troubling chest tightness and unusual fatigue, his labs revealed a sharp rise in his LDL cholesterol and inflammation markers. Harold was baffled. "Doc, I haven't touched a burger in months. I gave up dessert long ago," he said, worry creasing his forehead. But as we peeled back the layers, I discovered his secret comfort: daily spoonfuls of peanut butter. Often eaten straight from the jar, sometimes sweetened with honey. "It feels better than ice cream," he confessed with a wistful smile. We read the label together. His favorite brand was loaded with added sugar, palm oil, and nearly 200 milligrams of sodium per serving. Harold was unintentionally turning what he thought was a healthy habit into a quiet enemy of his heart. His story isn't unique. So many seniors believe they're making smart, wholesome choices. Yet the marketing is confusing, misleading. Natural doesn't mean free from harmful additives. No cholesterol doesn't mean safe for your arteries. We switched Harold to a truly natural peanut butter, just 100% peanuts, no additives, and limited him to 1 tablespoon a day, paired with apple slices or whole grain crackers. In just 8 weeks, his cholesterol levels improved, his energy returned, and the chest tightness that haunted him began to vanish. Harold looked at me with gratitude and said something that stuck with me deeply. I never realized my comfort food was hurting the very thing I was trying to protect, my heart. That's the reality many of us face as we age. Labels and marketing don't matter as much as how our hearts feel. So if you're over 60, I urge you, don't let sweet, creamy nut butters fool you. Before you spread that spoonful, ask yourself, am I truly nourishing my heart, or just soothing a craving that's costing me dearly? If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Your heart deserves more than a disguise. It deserves the truth. 6. Trail mix, the sugar-coated snack disguised as heart-healthy fuel. Trail mix has this reputation. It feels like the perfect snack for anyone trying to live healthily, especially for older adults who want to stay energized without resorting to junk food. It's easy to imagine it as a wholesome, natural boost, a convenient little handful of nature's goodness to keep you going through the day. You see trail mix everywhere. Hospital gift shops, health food stores, even heart health magazines often recommend it as a smart choice. It's a colorful medley of nuts, seeds, dried fruit, maybe a sprinkle of dark chocolate. On paper, it sounds like the ultimate guilt-free snack, something your body should thank you for. But if you're over 60, I have to speak plainly and from the heart. That innocent-looking handful might be quietly undermining your health, sabotaging your heart in ways you might never expect. It's so tempting to think, well, almonds and raisins are healthy, right? That's what I believed for years too, until I realized just how much commercial trail mix has changed since the days of simple hiker snacks in the 1970s. Today's trail mixes are often packed with hidden dangers, added sugars that sneak up on you, hydrogenated oils that promote inflammation, and sky-high sodium levels that strain your heart. The dried fruits, once nature's sweet treats, are coated in sugar or corn syrup, turning what should be a wholesome bite into a sugary trap. The nuts, roasted not in healthy oils but inflammatory ones, are drowned in salt. And the chocolate? Don't be fooled. It's usually processed, waxy, and far from the antioxidant-rich delight you imagine. More often than not, it's the first ingredient on the list, a red flag for something far from pure. What does this mean for your aging body? After 60, our bodies change. Insulin sensitivity drops, metabolism slows, and arteries become less flexible. When you consume a snack that sends your blood sugar soaring and floods your system with sodium, you're not just getting a momentary energy boost. You're causing tiny, invisible damage inside your blood vessels. This damage adds up, setting the stage for plaque buildup, high blood pressure, and irregular heart rhythms that nobody wants to face. I remember one patient vividly, Mrs. Carol B., an 81-year-old former nurse from North Carolina. She walked into my office, worried about feeling lightheaded and noticing swelling in her feet. Carol was careful with her diet, avoiding fried foods, and eating her vegetables. But when we talked about her snacks, she confessed something heartbreaking. She'd been eating trail mix multiple times a day, believing it was a healthy choice. It gave me comfort, she said, tears welling in her eyes, and kept the hunger at bay between meals. I thought I was doing the right thing, doctor. Better than eating cookies. What she didn't realize was how deceptive those handfuls were. Each serving packed with over 250 calories, 15 grams of sugar, and more than 200 milligrams of sodium. Her blood pressure was dangerously high at 162/96, and her blood sugar levels were creeping into pre-diabetic territory. Carol didn't even have a sweet tooth, yet she was unknowingly consuming what was essentially dessert in disguise. I explained gently that her heart struggles weren't just the result of aging. They were a response to chronic inflammation, to sugar spikes that overtaxed her system, and to imbalanced electrolytes wreaking havoc inside her body. The swelling in her legs was a sign her heart was struggling to manage the extra fluid, and those energy crashes she felt? That was her body reacting to repeated insulin spikes and falls. Together, we devised a better plan. A simple trail mix made from raw, unsalted almonds, unsweetened dried cranberries, and a few pumpkin seeds. We measured it carefully. A quarter-cup portion, just once a day, never late at night. 2 months later, Carol came back glowing. Her blood pressure was down, the swelling was gone, and she smiled as she told me, "I didn't need the sugar, I just needed to break the habit." That story is why I'm so passionate about this message. Not every snack labeled healthy is truly safe for your heart, especially as we grow older. Sometimes, the very things we reach for to nurture ourselves end up doing the opposite. So the next time you spot that trail mix jar at the checkout line or reach for it in your pantry, please pause. Look closely at the label. Count the sugars. Consider the salt. Ask yourself honestly, is this truly nourishing my body, or is it cloaking sweetness and salt in a disguise that masks harm? Because if a snack meant to fuel your energy can leave you inflamed and battling high blood pressure, imagine what other hidden dangers lurk in those innocent-looking foods, the ones that might slow your digestion, interfere with your medications, or stop your heart pills from working like they should. Your heart deserves better than disguised poison. It deserves real care, real fuel, and your loving attention. 7. Pistachios, the sneaky nut that slows down your digestion and blocks your medications. Pistachios. Those tiny, vibrant little nuts with their bright green hues and satisfying crack that feels almost like a comforting ritual. For many of us, especially as we wind down after a long day, cracking open pistachios one by one becomes a soothing habit, something simple and rewarding. They seem harmless, even healthy, natural, crunchy, and packed with what we believe to be the good fats. It's easy to think of them as a guilt-free snack, a little treat that fits nicely into a heart-healthy lifestyle. But here's the painful truth many older adults don't hear. After you pass 60, these innocent-looking pistachios can quietly start working against you. They might be slowing down your digestion, dragging your metabolism into molasses-like slowness, and worst of all, interfering with the very heart medications you depend on every day to keep you alive and well. You see, pistachios are rich in insoluble fiber and phytosterols, plant compounds that, in smaller doses, help reduce cholesterol and promote heart health. But as our bodies age and slow, especially when we're juggling medications like blood pressure pills, blood thinners, or beta blockers, eating too many pistachios can actually disrupt the way our stomach empties. It slows gastric motility and delays how quickly your meds get absorbed into your bloodstream. This is something almost no one warns seniors about, and I say this from my years as a cardiologist caring for thousands of older patients. I've witnessed the heartbreak of good intentions turned into unforeseen consequences. What used to be an easy snack in youth can become a metabolic roadblock later in life. Aging naturally slows the digestive system. Your stomach empties at a snail's pace, your intestines lose some of their responsiveness, and the timing of medication absorption becomes fragile, precarious. When a large helping of pistachios sits heavy in your gut, your body has to work overtime just to break it down. That means blood flow diverts away from your heart, blood pressure becomes unstable, and crucial medicines don't reach your system when they're most needed. I'll never forget Mr. Joseph L., an 82-year-old retired jazz musician from New Orleans. A man with a heart full of rhythm and a lifetime of stories. He'd been stable on his low-dose ACE inhibitor for years, but suddenly, his blood pressure readings became a roller coaster. Some days dangerously high, others too low to stand safely. He was dizzy, confused, frustrated beyond measure. "Doc," he said with a weary sigh, "I'm taking my meds like clockwork." Nothing changed, except something did. As I gently probed into his daily habits, the culprit emerged. Joseph had recently started snacking on pistachios every night, 2-3 handfuls, to replace the desserts his doctor had asked him to avoid. It seemed like a healthier swap, a harmless indulgence that soothed late-night cravings. But little did he know, Those handfuls were slowing his digestive system down so much that his medication was either kicking in too late or not at all. It was as if his body was fighting itself from within. We adjusted his pistachio intake, limiting it to a small portion with lunch, and made sure his medication was taken with plain water, away from heavy or fibrous meals. Within 3 weeks, Joseph's blood pressure steadied. When he looked me in the eyes, his voice cracked slightly. I thought I was making a good choice, replacing a bad habit with a better one. I never imagined the better could have its own dangers. That moment stayed with me because it's the harsh reality so many seniors never hear. It's never just about what you eat, but when, how much, and what else is going on inside your body at the same time. Your digestive clock, your medication schedule, your heart's fragile rhythm, they are all entwined in a delicate dance. One extra handful at the wrong hour could mean your life-saving medication never gets where it needs to go. So tonight, before you reach for that bowl of pistachios, pause and ask yourself, am I truly helping my heart? Or am I unknowingly holding back the very medicine that protects it? Because if something as simple as pistachios can slow your stomach and block your meds, imagine the impact of other nuts, like those bursting with potassium, forcing your heart to battle your kidneys just to keep beating. 8. Brazil nuts, the potassium-loaded nut that may be overwhelming your aging heart and kidneys. Brazil nuts have long been celebrated as a superfood miracle, overflowing with selenium, healthy fats, and a variety of plant-based nutrients that seem to promise everything from fighting inflammation to shielding against cancer. They are large, satisfying, and just a handful can fill you up, making them an easy favorite snack. But here's the truth I wish more seniors knew, especially if you're over 60. Brazil nuts might be silently flooding your bloodstream with too much potassium and selenium. This isn't just a minor issue. It can put enormous, unseen pressure on your heart and kidneys. The worst part? You might not even feel a thing until it's dangerously late. These nuts are incredibly nutrient-dense. Just one Brazil nut can deliver nearly 100% or more of your daily selenium needs. Imagine that. And eating just 3 or 4 nuts. That's about as much potassium as you'd find in a medium banana. For younger, healthy adults with robust kidney function, this usually isn't a problem. But for seniors, especially those managing health with medications like ACE inhibitors, such as lisinopril, ARBs, like losartan, or potassium-sparing diuretics, for example, spironolactone, this potassium overload can be devastating. As we age, our kidneys lose their ability to filter out excess potassium effectively. This natural decline means potassium can build up in your blood, a dangerous condition called hyperkalemia that quietly creeps up without warning. There's no pain, no early symptoms to alert you. And when potassium levels finally spike too high, it can cause a fatal arrhythmia, a sudden and irregular heartbeat that can lead to cardiac arrest. I'll never forget Mrs. Eileen S., an 84-year-old retired nurse and loving grandmother from Ohio. She came in for a routine checkup, looking perfectly fine on the outside. Her only complaint was feeling a bit more tired than usual. But her blood work told a different story. Her potassium levels were alarmingly high, and her EKG showed subtle signs that her heart was under strain. Eileen was baffled. "Doc, I don't eat bananas, I watch my salt intake, and I don't take any supplements," she said, confused. When I gently asked about snacks, she smiled warmly and said, "Oh, I enjoy a little treat with my afternoon tea, just 3 or 4 Brazil nuts. My neighbor told me they're wonderful for boosting the immune system." What she didn't realize was that this seemingly harmless habit was quietly sending 300 to 400 milligrams of potassium into her body every day, along with a hefty dose of selenium, far exceeding safe limits for someone with her health profile. Coupled with her daily lisinopril, her kidneys were overwhelmed. They simply couldn't keep up with the mineral overload. Her body was silently accumulating substances it couldn't flush out, putting her heart at serious risk. Thankfully, we caught it early. We adjusted her medications, removed Brazil nuts from her diet, and within 2 weeks, her potassium levels stabilized. She later told me with a shaky voice, "It scares me to think that something so small could have almost taken me down." If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. And that, dear friends, is the heartbreaking reality for many seniors trying their best every day. You're careful, you avoid sugar, cut back on red meat, walk regularly. But no one tells you the harsh truth. After 60, even good foods can become dangerous if your body's balance is off. Your kidneys slow, your heart weakens, and your body loses its ability to clear excess nutrients like it used to. Brazil nuts aren't villains. They're powerful, but potency without proper guidance can be deadly in your golden years. So, if you're reaching for those Brazil nuts thinking a few won't hurt, please pause and ask yourself, what else am I putting into my body? What medications am I taking? Am I truly nourishing my heart, or unknowingly making it work twice as hard? Your health deserves more than guesswork. Listen to your body, talk openly with your doctor, and treat your heart and kidneys with the gentle care they need. 9. Mixed nuts. The empty calorie trap that fools seniors into thinking they're eating healthy. There's something deeply comforting about reaching for a can or jar of mixed nuts. It feels like a wise, balanced choice, a little bit of everything packed in one convenient snack. Almonds, cashews, peanuts, maybe a few pecans or hazelnuts tossed in for good measure. It's that go-to treat many seniors keep close by, beside the recliner for a quiet afternoon, offered to guests to show hospitality, or tucked away in a purse just in case hunger strikes while out and about. For many older adults, mixed nuts have replaced chips, candy bars, or other sugary, processed snacks, and on the surface, that seems like a smart and responsible decision. You're choosing something that looks healthy, something that should nourish your body. But here's the heartbreaking truth that's often hidden from view. Those mixed nuts, as convenient and seemingly wholesome as they are, may be delivering almost no real nutritional value to your aging body. Worse yet, they could be quietly undermining your heart health, packing on unwanted pounds around your waist, and draining your energy, all without you realizing it. Most commercial mixed nut blends aren't truly heart healthy. They're often overly roasted to the point where valuable nutrients break down, heavily salted to satisfy taste buds but overwhelm your system, and coated in cheap, low-quality oils that completely cancel out the natural benefits the nuts should provide. And the sad irony? Many popular, budget-friendly brands bulk up their mixes with peanuts, which aren't even nuts but legumes, and contain fewer of the beneficial fats your heart desperately needs. Peanuts also carry more inflammatory omega-6 oils that throw off the delicate balance critical for cardiovascular health, especially as we grow older. What breaks my heart most is how these snacks make seniors feel like they're doing everything right. You're consciously avoiding junk food, swapping out cookies or chips for nuts. You feel proud, like you're making a positive, health-conscious choice. But what no one tells you is that you might be filling your mouth with salt, processed oils, and empty calories that do little, if anything, to protect your heart or support your vitality. Let me share a story close to my heart, about Mr. Ron T., a 78-year-old retired Vietnam veteran from Arizona. When Ron walked into my clinic, he was visibly frustrated. Despite his efforts to eat well, cutting out red meat, walking daily, his weight was creeping up steadily, his blood pressure was climbing, and his cholesterol had spiked alarmingly. "Doc," he said with a sigh, "I snack on nuts instead of junk food. That's supposed to be better for me, right?" We dug into his daily food diary, and it didn't take long to see the culprit. Every night, like clockwork, Ron sat in front of the TV with a generous handful, or more, of mixed nuts. The label looked innocent enough: lightly salted, roasted with sea salt, a healthy snack. But when we broke down the numbers, the truth hit hard. Each serving contained over 180 calories, 8 grams of fat, much of it oxidized from the roasting process, and a hefty dose of sodium. Worse, Ron was eating nearly 3 times the recommended serving size, completely unaware of how much he was consuming. His aging body, already more vulnerable and sensitive, couldn't handle the sodium spikes or the overload of processed fats. His arteries were inflamed, his heart was forced to work harder, and he had no idea that the so-called healthy snack was silently sabotaging his progress. We made a simple but powerful change. Ron switched to a carefully measured mix of raw, unsalted walnuts and almonds, just a quarter cup a day, and only ate them alongside a meal. No mindless snacking, no hidden oils, no sneaky salt. The results were remarkable. In just 6 weeks, his blood pressure dropped by 15 points, and he shed 4 pounds without even trying. Looking back, Ron admitted with a chuckle, "I thought I was eating smart. Turns out, I was eating like I was 40, not 78. That confession speaks volumes. It's a poignant reminder that what worked for us in our younger years might no longer serve us as we age. And it's why we must be vigilant. Not just about what we eat, but how those foods affect our changing bodies. Thank you so much for staying with me through this important discussion about mixed nuts and the hidden pitfalls many seniors face when trying to eat healthy. I hope Mr. Ron's story and the facts I shared have opened your eyes to how even well-intentioned choices can sometimes do more harm than good, especially as our bodies change with age. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you've learned so far that surprised you or made you think differently? And what will you try to bring into your daily life starting today? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I truly believe we can all learn and grow together. If you found this video helpful, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support means the world and helps us continue creating content that cares for your health and well-being. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.